Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Orville Season 3, Episode 2, Shadow Realm. So this was a really good episode, but I was very confused in the beginning of this episode because, well, there are 3 different plot lines going on in this one episode. And normally, like in a Star Trek show, like an older Star Trek, you'll have a plot A and a plot B, and they'll be completely different, but they will somehow, towards the end, combine together, so it makes it into a perfect whole. Sometimes in older Trek, you'll also have a C plot. Yeah, I'm getting tired. I'm getting the words mixed up. And so you have like a C plot, and the C plot normally is something completely different that doesn't tie into the rest of the thing. And so one thing I've noticed about the show since it moved to Hulu and everything is that there seems to be a C plot in the first 2 episodes, and they're tacked on to the last 20 minutes. See, because when this show was on Fox, it was your typical 40-minute show because it was on TV broadcasting. But now it's on streaming, and now they get to have that full 60-minute hour. And I've noticed it's like the last 20 minutes, they just seem to just like cram something in, like action packed, that really has nothing to do with the rest of the story. That's how it was in the first episode, and now it is here. So they having a bit of pacing issue. Look, it's like almost 3 in the, oh, actually it's almost 4 in the morning. So that's why I'm messing my words up. But anyway. But yeah, it's like a pacing issue. God, I cannot get my words out. I am sleepy. And so I kind of wish it was only just 40 minutes. It doesn't need that extra 20 if they're just going to chalk in like tons of action. The action is nice, don't get me wrong, because I love space battle-y type stuff. But they should just add it into the rest of like the 40-minute stuff. So anyway, so when this first started, I was just kind of like, what direction is this show going in? I'm like, no, please don't do season 2 where it's like an emotional type episode. I got enough of that in season 2. But so basically, they're talking to the Krill, and they made an alliance so they can go through their space. But the Krill tell them there's an area of space that's completely different, and it's like a bunch of demons and monsters there. So they say you can go there if you want, but whatever. So they decide since they're explorers, they're gonna go. You know, I have to say, the Orville season 1 felt like Star Trek: The Next Generation. Season 2, surprisingly enough, felt like Deep Space Nine. Why? Because of all the personal, emotional episodes they had. All that character development. That's something DS9 had. They were very invested in their character development. And then towards the end, they had like the huge battle. Season 3 feels like Voyager. The ship has more of that metal look to it, like, you know, because it had that warm feeling in season 1 with the floors and the walls, and now everything's the same color, like in Voyager hallways and stuff. Also, they have like that new shuttlecraft that's kind of like a Delta Flyer type thing, and this episode even takes them into a region of space that has no stars, very similar to that of Voyager. So as they're traveling, and the visuals are great once again. So they're driving through like space, and then they get into an area that's like completely black. And then when they get on the other side, it's like this giant red thing. And they don't really know what it is, but they can but then they determine that it is a space station. Now, let me get back to the emotional stuff. When the part I was getting kind of confused. So an admiral is going to be on there, and we can tell that the Dr. Finn knows him by the way she's reacting. Then those two start talking. I'm like, okay, those two really know each other. Something's going on. They're being coy about it. And so basically, when she was in the academy, they were like knocking boots. And then eventually, when she got out, they got married. That's her husband. And so she tells Kelly that as they're like drinking and stuff. And, oh, by the way, the humor in this episode is on point. The first episode it wasn't, but the humor is back to being good again. So he wants her back, but she does not want him back. It's been way too many years, and she tells me, she has 2 sons and everything. Not sure who their father is, but she never married him because she's only been married one time. And so he starts to talk to Isaac and everything about, because he knew those two had like a relationship at some point, and he's trying to get her back. Well, in a way, as they go on the space station, it's the doctor, the admiral, Kelly, and the captain. And I'm just like, why are your 3 high-ranking officers all going on the same away mission? If somebody dies, then your admiral, commander, and your captain is gone. So yeah, I don't like when they do stuff like that. But anyway, it's also Lamar and the doctor. So they're going around the space station, and it's beautiful. The graphics are great. The scenery is great. The set pieces are great. It turns out to be some type of organic space station. The admiral sticks his face in there, this little pod thing, and it just opens up, but nothing sprays on him. So they leave. So while back on their ship, they are analyzing the readings that they have because they got kind of too spooked out while being on there. And I don't blame them. It was kind of like a horror movie type thing. Like, you remember when Voyager first met Species 8472 and they were just walking around the corridors of their ship? It felt like that. And so one reason why they went on there, because they saw a distress beacon. And so while they was on the ship, I think it started sending out another distress beacon and stuff. And so, like, all of a sudden the admiral starts freaking out. Don't know why. When he's in sick bay, he is transforming. Only half of his face is transforming, and it looks like he's trying to grow eyes. And so they go back onto like the space station to see what the thing that attacked him was. They take some more scan readings, and it is determined that it's some type of like bacterial spores and everything. So it's transforming him. Well, back on the Orville, he's transforming even more. Half his face looked like that of a bug. And then as the doctor goes to do something, the nurse is attacked by that of the admiral, who is now fully transformed into a giant spider-like monster, right? And so, like, then all of a sudden, he starts using his access codes to, like, turn off all the power in the ship. So now they have to, like, look for him and everything. Well, after the shuttlecraft comes back, it's determined, like I said before, it's some type of, like, spores and stuff like that. So now it's kind of like a horror movie scene. This is like the last 20 minutes. See, the first A plot of this was just like, the admiral trying to like rekindle his love with the doctor. Then the second part is them finding this like space station and trying to see what's all about it. Now we get this C plot that's tacked on full of action and horror. And I mean, it's straight up horror. Sometimes I wish Voyager and other Star Trek shows were kind of like this. Other than, them resolving things so fast, but this scene goes on for like 20 whole minutes, and it just feels like it's tacked on there, and you just kind of like, when is it gonna end? So basically, everybody's walking through the ship in the dark and trying to figure out what's going on. Well, the doctor is all like, she's gonna go look for her boys. Her 2 sons decide they're gonna wander around the ship, and Ty tells like Marcus and everything, we're supposed to stay in our quarters and everything. And he's all like, nah, man, it's like dark and scary and there's no stars outside. Let's just try to find mom and everything. So they go to sick bay. They can't find her. They're just roaming around the ship, and they're in like the mess hall. And then they start to get attacked by that of the admiral, who's like this giant spider monster now. So then other people are wandering around the ship, and so Lamar, he's in like the not turbo shop, but like the Jeffrey tube type things. And Brutus is all like, he doesn't know about like, the admiral turned into like a monster. So the security chief lady goes and look for him. And so then they're all attacked by like the monsters, and she fights them off, and it's a pretty good fight. It's some really good CGI on the monsters. The practical suits that they use is pretty good, and them crawling on the walls and jumping around is pretty good. And so then we see that these like monster or the alien dude, like the admiral, if he sprays like acid in your face, you transform into another spider creature. And it's gross and grotesque and it's awesome. And it's great CGI. The only thing that's confusing is that when he sprays people with the acid, they turn within seconds, but it took him hours to turn. So in a way, now they have to use like their phaser rifles and everything, and they have to go hunt down the crewmen and stuff. As they get one, but the security chief, she's scanning the body. The doctor's like scanning the body and everything, right? And so this is the part that's really weird, and I was surprised they went this route. They really are taking stakes. Normally in the Star Trek show, they would save the transformed human who turns into an alien. The doctor determined that the immune system is weak at this point, and if she sends in like a virus, it will kill the host and everything, killing the human host. And so she was gonna unleash like the virus, like a common like flu or whatever, into the atmosphere, and but this will kill the aliens. So she talks to the aliens and everything, and she tells them like, look, because another ship is coming, right? So this is how they mate. This is how when they find alien species and they shoot their spores at them and they just terraform them and stuff like that. So the other ship is coming and she tells them, look, just leave this ship, because if you don't, we're gonna kill you and everything, and just be with your people. Like, cause I guess they can't turn them back human no more and everything, which is so weird. So she unleashes a little bit of the virus. It hurts them, and they all like, fine, you know, we'll leave and blah, 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 stuff like that. I don't know how exactly they left. I don't know, they went in a shuttle. I don't know, they just went out in space or whatever. And so after that, she's a little sad, not too sad, but she talks to Isaac. He's trying to cheer her up in the mess hall, and they had like a little cute little moment. And I'm still shocked and surprised they didn't turn the humans back to humans and everything. Normally in a Star Trek show, they do that. I'm just like, holy crap. So those like 5 people are now gone? Man, they ain't playing around this season. So it makes me wonder, they get in space battle and you die, you probably gonna stay dead. Now, there ain't gonna be no reversing time this time. And everything. I just still couldn't believe they did that though. It's like, dude, he's gone. The other crew people are gone. The nurse dude is gone now. And he was in 2 episodes. And I'm just like, holy crap. Now, I was very shocked that in the beginning of this episode, they decided to have an emotional episode with that of the doctor. Because in the first episode, it was more of that of Isaac, but the doctor was also crammed in there and stuff. And I've noticed in season 2, when they do those emotional episodes, a lot more revolves around that of the doctor. And I'm like, how come? Why come they just didn't do somebody different? And then I stopped and thought about the cast. A lot of them aren't like very seasoned when it comes to acting. The doctor is, she's been like in a lot of stuff. You have Seth, who is a voice actor and not very good at live action, and his live action stuff normally flops. You have the con officer, who is a comedian slash voice actor. You have Lamar, who is more of like a comedian stand-up type dude, and is a little stiff on his acting, so he can't really get those emotional scenes. The Brutus character, even though he is good, his character is supposed to be like dry wit and everything and kind of stale. So it wouldn't make sense for him to have like a huge emotional type episode. He has some of those in the past, but they always come off more as angry or comedic. Then there's Isaac. The actor's really good, but he's an android who's not supposed to have emotions, even though he has some emotional episodes. So it'll be kind of weird to keep giving him emotional episodes. Then there leaves the security chief, Kelly, and the new girl, Charlie Burke. I'm not familiar with the Charlie actress or the security lady. I'm surprised the security lady's half black. I did not know that. Anyway, But when it comes to Kelly, I've only seen her do like comic book action type stuff, Wonder Woman and Agents of Shield. But I didn't watch her in Agents of Shield, but I saw her in the pilot of Wonder Woman. So I've never really seen her in much other than this. So I don't really know what she can do or not. So I guess the only person to do like the emotional stuff is gonna be like the Doctor always, you know. And so it was nice to have those nice little emotional things for her, but it was kind of like she was worried that her ex-husband did turn into a monster and everything. But when he did turn into a monster, she was more concerned about finding her kids. She even leaves sick bays all like, I gotta go be with my kids. And I'm all like, well, aren't you gonna go look for the monster dude that's your ex-husband and the admiral who's roaming around the ship? But she doesn't. And then when he leaves and everything, she's in the mess hall. She's a little tiny upset, but not really emotionally, because she just never wanted to be with him. So all that stuff in the beginning kind of was pointless to that of like the B and C plot, because she really just didn't care for him and stuff. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.